Now you should be able to hear stuff.
On delay.
Now you should be able to hear stuff. Yeah. All right, we're just going to give this about 5 minutes here to build up people. We'll start about 7 o'clock. Looks like we already got 3 people watching. We'll be right back here and start at 7 with Nathan Walker from Walker Custom Ice Rods. Hey, Dusty, there's no sound. I have it muted till we get started at 7. Just so that, we can talk and discuss amongst ourselves before we start. So. I just unmuted everybody, so should be able to hear it.
Okay.
Who is this guy with rods? Nathan Walker, Brad. I think you know this guy. He was telling me before we started, Brad, that you weren't very social at the banquet. He said he didn't know who you were, just some guy in the kitchen. Yeah, I wasn't there. It was twice as much work with me not there, I suppose. How thick is the ice? I knew that question to be asked.
Probably a few times a night.
Yeah. Can you hear Nathan, Brad? I'm sure you can. Well, I don't want this thing to drag on too long. Nobody wants to watch an hour of video at any time. So I think what we'll do is we'll get started with some pretty mundane introduction stuff, and then get into some nitty gritty on what's been going on with Nathan Walker, Walker Custom Ice Rods, what he's been up to, what he's got planned this winter, kind of what we've been up to and what we've got planned, and then kind of, if anybody has anything that they want to talk about. I mean, this is definitely not a official format or anything. It's, we were talking a little bit earlier about how the whole goal is we want to make sure that everybody understands that, ice fishing is approachable, fishing tournaments is approachable, custom ice rods are approachable, all that stuff. So that's basically where what we're going to talk about tonight, and kind of keep it informal. And if you have questions, ask away. Looks like we're getting a few people in here already, a couple questions. So I guess we'll start off. If you don't know, I'm Alan Hoisington, half of Mid Iowa Anglers, directing tournament directors. The other half is Brad Carlson. We have quite a bit of experience fishing ice fishing tournaments and catfishing tournaments. So, we decided quite a while ago that, both communities were kind of missing things as people retired or fizzled out, or just things weren't going as we liked it when we first started in the community. So we decided to throw our hats in this, and a big part of that is sponsorship. And as soon as we put out that we were going to do ice fishing tournaments, Nathan Walker was a big part of that. I mean, he was one of the first people to reach out to me and wanted to be a part of it. And he's given more back to this community than I ever anticipated. We thought this would be a hard, uphill battle to get people interested and sponsorships, and I think we've been going about it the right way. So I can't thank Nathan enough for reaching out. I think it was a little over a year ago. I think it was pretty early when we first started talking about these. So Nathan Walker Custom Ice Rods is with us tonight. We're just gonna find out a little bit about what he does and what he's been up to. So Nathan, you want to tell anybody kind of a little about yourself and how you got started in all this, and as much as you want to share.
Well, believe it or not, I actually got started in the building rods. I was a custom golf club maker for over 10 years, and I got 15 years experience working with graphite blanks and carbon matrix blanks, all sorts of stuff like that. So hopping into rod was actually pretty easy, and being an avid fisherman myself, I just got tired of spending buco's amount of money on quality rods, started building them for myself and a few of my friends, and it just kind of went on from there, of people saying, hey, start offering these out to more of the public, and it just kind of took off like wildfire.
Yeah, so you've been building rods for a couple of years, and sounds like you've been pretty busy this year already. We were talking earlier about how you've been kind of running a few ice show circuits and taking everything you had ready and then some, and everything's been kind of well received. So it's good to see something that you're trying to get off the ground more and more every year take more and more success and more towards your goals, I guess. So on that, I know there was one thing I wanted to talk to you about was not just what custom rods are and all that, and kind of about your business and about you, but also about the community. One thing I was going to kind of surprise you about was I asked you if there was anything you wanted to talk about, but there was one thing I wanted to ask you about we haven't talked about yet, and that was you putting together a youth event this season. Can you tell us more about that? Or
Yes, January 12th over at Prairie Rose, I'm putting on a event called the Sunday Fun Day Kids event. It's all about getting kids that don't know anything about ice fishing, and even their parents, to come on in. We're going to teach them whatever we can. We're going to take them out for a good time. And even parents with their kids that want to come and join, they're more than welcome to. They can just message me anytime, and it's going to be around 9 o'clock at Prairie Rose, right outside of Harlan. There, just south of town. All the bait's going to be supplied and everything by me and the guys. I'll have a bunch of my pro staff down. If they don't even have hubs in that, we're going to have a lot of hubs out there. We're hoping to get places. We'd like to get 20 to 25 kids out there and just treat them to a good time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Why'd you pick Prairie Rose? I kind of have some ideas why you'd pick that lake, but why'd you pick Prairie Rose for that event, you think?
that Prairie Rose, the fishery, the DNR have done an awesome job out there these past few years. For kids, catching bluegill is just a blast for them. You can go out there. A lot of the times, the bluegill will bite. It's a little bit easier than catching crappie. And the bluegill out there, I mean, you're sorting 8-9 inchers and throwing them back because you're catching some that are in that 10-11 inch range.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome fishery. They've done an awesome job out there. The other thing I'd note about that for anybody thinking about taking their kid out there, it's a very approachable lake. I mean, it's not a long walk, to where you can get on these nice bluegill and have a mixed bag. And honestly, it doesn't take a lot of equipment either. I mean, it's a very good selection to introduce somebody to ice fishing, because you have a reasonable chance at good success marked by any angler, I think, out there, without much work involved, I guess.
Searching.
You don't right. You don't have to search a lot. It's a short walk. You don't have to have. Honestly, it's so busy out there. If it's warm enough, you don't have to have an auger. You don't have to have a fish finder. You can go out there with some line and a hook and probably catch one. Just with some line and some hook and maybe something as a bait. But everything goes up from there. So very approachable, very active place. Brody Snyder, what day is that again, Nathan?
That is January 12th.
January 12th. That's the same day we're doing the Badger tournament.
Yeah.
But but that's all right. That's all right. It's all family friendly. There's different strokes for different folks. And Brody, I know you got some kids that are fishermen with you, and if you haven't been out there or want to take them out there, or even if you want to volunteer, Brody, I know I seen you ice fishing this week. I know you love giving back to the community as well. So if you need volunteers, do you need any help with that, or do you think you kind of have things covered at this point? Or
as of right now, I think I have things covered for it. Like I said, I got a bunch of staff coming down to bring their hubs, and we're going to have plenty of equipment. Right. After the event, we'll all pack up, get on the road, and we're all going to head over to Kirkman. It's just a few miles down the road. We're going to have a nice little eatery over there, free food for everybody that was at the event. We're going to hand out door prizes and all sorts of goodies for the kids. There'll be some prizes for the adults as well. Nice.
Kind of getting back to what we got going on, like I said, our Badger Creek tournament's the same weekend. I've been out to Badger Creek. I haven't seen a whole lot of ice out there lately, but that's December in central Iowa. Things get warm and cold, and really, we want it to get cold and stay cold without a lot of snow, not a lot of wind, for several days. I think the colder it stays, and definitely tomorrow is going to be a cold day. It's going to look. I don't know if it's skimmed over yet, but I think we're getting close. I don't think it's going to take much. I mean, we could go from open water to 5 inches in a week if we had the right forecast. So everything looks good there. We did add a yellow bass event on January 25th at 3 Mile to go with our panfish event January 26th at 12 Mile. If anybody's looking for a place to stay, the cabins at 3 Mile are already all booked. They were booked months ago. I couldn't even get one. I'm probably going to take the trailer here down and try and sleep in it. We do that with some of our catfishing events, and it works out pretty well, but we'll see. It'll probably be at the campground there at 3 Mile if all goes well. Keeping it warm and it's not too cold. But then I think it's February 9th, 2 weekends apart, basically on Sunday. February 9th is our Big Creek event. Again, hoping to keep some keep some ice that late. Well, just to have ice up there. That's a big lake. Should be lots of nice quality fish in it for everybody to catch. See some kickers come out of there for sure this winter if we have an event up there. So 4 events, all counting towards points of the year. Got plenty of sponsors. I can't thank sponsors enough for helping out with that. We got a couple questions here. For Yellow Bass tournament, is there a list meeting prior to the tournament? Brad's got that. It's going to be a keep all Yellow Bass. The DNR they were going to kill it off, and so they wanted us to wait to see if we were going to have a tournament. They decided they weren't going to kill it off, so we're going to have a tournament down there. See if we can't kill it off with some pressure. So as far as the Yellow Bass go, but anybody that doesn't know, rules meeting always happens on Facebook Live. It's very similar to this. The night before each event, we'll have a rules meeting. It's real quick. We go through the rules, ask if anybody has any questions, give any updates on ice conditions or any specialty rules that apply. We can use wheelers. We can do all that stuff, all that. I guess going back to you, Nathan, what do you got on the horizon? What do you got that's new that had you excited about this winter or maybe this off season in the next season?
Besides finally getting into some retail stores, that's kind of new to me. Instead of just selling online and that, being able to travel to different locations has really helped out too. Getting word of mouth out, that's kind of the best advertising there is. I do have a few new rods I'm looking at getting into. I'm building spec sheets for them right now. I got one of my sample rods over here with me, actually, just in case you'd ask me that.
Okay, nice.
It's a panfish dead stick. This is going to be my zombie panty bandit.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm working on a new carbon rod as well.
Okay.
That will be a little bit stronger than my I wanted something that's a little bit stronger than my carbon panty bandit and my carbon perca pounder. I just needed it right in between those two rods.
Okay. So kind of expanding the lineup over the next season.
Yep. A couple new rods to add in for next season.
Right. We were talking before. You're a busy man, right? You had to cut off custom orders. You got enough orders that you want to make sure you get them all built so that people can get them on the ice and get them in use this season. You talked about your retail stores. Is there any retail stores you'd like to highlight for people if they can't get in on your custom rod list? Is there some place they can go check out some of your lineup?
Over at Wood Sporting Goods in Council Bluffs, I got some rods in there. I had one of my pro staff bring some rods down to Lamar's to beginner's look tackle to the owner David there. So there's some sitting in his store as well. I'm really kind of hoping, since I'll be in Des Moines a little bit more, or Des Moines, the Ames area a little more next year, I'm going to try to find a place up there that will hold my rods too. So
gotcha. Okay.
Just kind of fingers crossed and catch the right person.
Right. Yeah. And, kind of what we were talking about earlier, making this not just about a bunch of custom rod makers being competitive with each other and all that, but I'm sure being connected with a lot of those guys might open up some of those doors for you here in Central Iowa. I can think of a couple stores that maybe you'd be able to get into with some of your. I mean, I know like Sean's in at Johnston Bait, Lucky's down at Dad's in Afton. One that I'm not sure. I know, like family owned. Like if you're looking in the Ames area, Jack's Outdoors has always been a really good hookup in that area as far as gear and bait and not just fishing, but just about anything outdoors and Army surplus. So look up Jack's Outdoors if you don't know. maybe we can get you into there. So
Very nice. Appreciate that.
yeah. So I guess what have you been able to get out and do any fishing yourself, or?
I'm planning on heading up to Okoboji this Thursday.
Okay.
Everybody's already out there catching fish.
Yeah, that's a great fishery up there. I know it brings a lot of attention. There's a lot of space to kind of spread out. I'm not sure on current ice conditions up there, but I know they've had some ice at least over most of the Great Lakes for about a week now. I haven't had any real direct reports or specific reports. But a couple years, when we would go up there in the past, we'd always stay on Emerson Bay. We'd stay at the Lutheran camp.
Yep.
There's a Lutheran camp over there off Emerson Bay. It had pretty affordable and approachable and accessible access during the ice fishing season, and real family oriented accommodations, and it's been just super nice being able to trailer in there your machines and get right on the ice, and have a kind of a base camp to run out of over there. Great pan fishing in Emerson Bay, walleye, perch. Emerson Bay is deep enough to get perch. Pike, always key in on those. I mean, it's always a great location. First time I ever went ice fishing was up there on Triboji, North End. Back when we were young, dumb, and stupid, we were catching perch in 40 feet of water and having to keep them all because they were so barotrauma. But me, Brad, and a guide took us out, and I think we had a 45 limit. Was it no, more than that? What's it? 25 a fish. So 75 fish limit.
25 for perch.
Yeah, it's 25 for perch. So we had 75 fish. Me, Brad, and the guide all had our limit by like 11 a.m. And he had to actually take us somewhere else to target some bluegill and crappie and pike. So that was really cool. We've done some yellow bass fishing through the ice on East Okoboji. Spirit Lake's always real popular for perch. I can't think of the bay just north of Emerson, but that's usually a really weedy bay with a lot of pike in it too. I can't think of the name of it. Between Triboji and Emerson on the west side of West Okoboji.
No, I know what you're talking about, but I just can't think of the bay. But we used to do there with the boats and that. We catch a lot of pike out of there. Yeah. So Miller's Bay. That's right. Dusty, thank you. Miller's Bay. So all over the place on ice conditions, 4.5 to 6 inches. I wouldn't be responsible if I didn't give you the old spiel of, early ice fishing. Make sure you're being safe. Make sure you're taking every safety precaution. Have a plan. Stick to the plan. Check as you go. Take a buddy. Take every safety device you can. Float suits, picks, throw rope. Use your spud bar.
Spud bar. A good spud bar is irreplaceable. I mean, yeah, you drop it through the ice and you're going to have to buy a new one, but it's well spent money every time. Another thing people don't always think about, fresh, clean ice, you're going to want some ice spikes or some kind of cleats or traction. If you fall and break your tailbone or get a concussion, or heaven forbid it's thin enough you fall through because you fell down, you're going to regret not having some kind of traction on your feet. So that's my spiel. I'll stop dadding for the night. That's enough of the safety stuff. That's not exactly what I wanted to get into, but that's all right.
Oh, but it's still some good points to bring out.
Yeah. So are you hoping to be at, I think we talked earlier, were you hoping to be at one of these events? I think it was Big Creek you were hoping to be at, wasn't it?
Yep. I plan on being at Big Creek. Some of my pro staff will be at your events. A lot of people might know, like Dan Bruce.
Okay.
So
yeah, Dan and his partner is usually Chad. He has definitely a knowledge base. Me and Brad have competed against Dan for years. Pretty good friend of ours as well. And Dan, I can definitely see why you'd have Dan on your pro staff, because he's knowledgeable, friendly, approachable. He's got 2 little rugrats himself. He loves kids. Takes fishing as a family activity for sure. So Dan's super cool guy. I'm glad you guys are hooked up. So
yeah,
but
he's been actually up north with my buddy Travis Weir. I just didn't know that those 2 were friends.
Okay.
They've been smashing walleyes over the weekend.
yeah, up in
Sending
South
pics.
Dakota, right? Is that Wabash area? I
Yep, they're
think.
over at Wall Bay.
Okay. I've only made it up there once, and a lot of people drive up there from down here, especially if we don't have good ice yet. And the walleye fishing and perch fishing and pike fishing, it's amazing on Wabash or in that area. I know, I stopped at the gas station because it wasn't quite, it was probably I had an hour to kill before sunlight, and people recognized me from down here. So it was kind of cool to have, some local people. I was up there all by myself. I had hired a guide, but it's kind of cool to have local people reach out to you and say, "Hey, you're up here this weekend," and just making sure, you don't feel like you're alone. If something happens, you got people you can reach out to. So that's awesome to have, that knowledge that if you go up there, there's plenty of Iowans up in that area from central and western Iowa, especially western Iowa. I bet that's real popular over there because it's such a short drive for you guys to go up there compared to over here.
And I think I got a couple of my guys coming down for your yellow bass tournament.
Oh, really? You know who that's going to be?
Tyler and Dusty.
Okay. Well, is this Dusty Vanderbush or?
Yep.
Okay. I seen his name around. I'm not sure if I've ever met Dusty. I apologize, Dusty. I'm not sure if I've met you or not, but I hope to meet you. We're probably, make sure you introduce yourself. We're never too busy to meet and see new people and connect. So,
No, him and Tyler are real good guys. Real good guys.
Yeah. So, we were talking earlier, it's all about making this community back to what we loved and enjoyed about it. A few years ago when we first got into it and got into competitive ice fishing, we really do try and format to that, through sponsors like yourself and door prizes. Last year we had quite a few door prizes. We got, I would say the value of the total prize pool is still pretty high, still pretty up there. Might be higher than last year. I'm not Rod and Bob's. I think they sent you some stuff to donate to the events. Rod and Bob's. I think because of Rod and Bob's, I think we'll have something for everybody at least. It sounds kind of hokey, but everybody's going to get probably something at every event, even if it's just some bobbers or whatnot. But I'm hoping to get some smaller things through a couple of our sponsors to go with. Nathan's always, he always surprises me. He hands me a rod case and says, these are for you. And then he says, this one's for you too. And that one's for you too. And, he always surprises me with his generosity. And that's how a lot of our sponsors are. I mean, guys, there's money prizes involved. I mean, it's $100 entry. Between 2 people or a father son, we want to keep that entry low and approachable. We want to have 40 teams. We want to bring people together, to have fun, right? It's not all about winning. It's about going out, spending time with a bunch of people, talking, chatting, socializing, learning techniques from other people. You can, one thing I bet every tournament angler will tell you, if you're not watching everybody as you're out there fishing, you're probably not learning as much as you probably should. You can tell a lot by when you get that many people on a lake. You can tell a lot by how people are moving around or not moving around. You're only 50 feet from them. Most of the time, we're not in ice shacks. You're out in the open where people can see you. you know, you can see what people are using. You walk up to, they might not have it tied on or sitting out when they're at launch or weigh-in, but you know, you walk up to some of these people that won or do well or seem to do well. You know, a lot of them are very approachable. They'll tell you how they did it and what they used, and you know, the one thing you learn when you start tournament angling is somebody's going to find the fish. You get 40 people out on a lake, or 40 teams out on the lake, 80 people, and somebody's going to figure them out. Somebody's going to find them. You know, so it's about community. It's about bringing people together, everybody enjoying, having a good time, and you know, taking something away from it, not just in material value, but also in education and community. I think is a big thing with us. So with that said, we're getting close to the half-hour mark. I told Nathan I wouldn't keep him busy all night. You got anything else you want to talk about, Nathan? How are things on your end? Anything you want to put out there for people?
One thing I really like, I like what you've been doing with this tournament, and that's why I got really involved with it. I enjoy knowing what it's all about. You know, just like you were saying, it's not about really the money. It's not really about the price. It's about going out and having quality time. You know, you
Right.
have your own little kid, your own kids thing in here, the Sons of Butch.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
when
that's
I saw that, you know, that got my
yeah.
attention real quick, and I just said, hey, you know, this is the kind of tournament that I want to be in. And it's more
Right.
about the community than it really is an actual money tournament. You
Yeah.
know, that's just the way that I perceived it. And
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see this tournament grow even a little further
Yeah.
than what it
Yeah.
is now.
So I will tell you, I think in the 3 seasons, 2 catfish and 1 ice season, we've had 1 monetary donation for each, for catfish, and 1 for ice season, which we both were turned around and bought door prizes with. We actually leveraged a lot of that with other sponsors to provide even more value to the cash donation. You know, usually we take whatever it is, and we'll get the you know, a 40 or 50%. We'll get at cost more door prizes with those cash donations. Kind of just some peek behind the curtain. You know, financially, me and Brad, we do this because we want the community to grow. We don't do it. The 20% that goes to the plaques. I mean, every event has $300 in plaques provided. 1st through 5th place, 2 plaques each. Team of the year plaques. Those are provided out of our pocket. Insurance for the events. Event permits. We you know, for what little is left over, that's what we, you know, have to come to the events, to get there, to sponsor. You know, I can't tell you how much of my own money. I mean, nobody pays for the banner. You know, that's all stuff that comes out, and we use to give back. I mean, the banner is something that we give away to Team of the Year as one of the prizes. So 1st place out of the Team of the Year prizes, 1st place gets 1st pick, 2nd place gets 2nd pick, and so forth. And that's usually we have the banner. We give that away at the Team of the Year as a Team of the Year prize. So some guys that, you know, went for it and fished all events, they can hang it up in their shop or their garage or wherever. And I'm sure it's a pretty good conversation starter when people come over and hang out with those guys, you know, asking about it. And you know, that is one thing that me and Brad always enjoyed and thought was important. Even if we didn't cash a check or get a nice door prize, we always like, you know, if we could hit a plaque, you know, that was always something that we enjoyed. Hardware is really important to guys, and we always loved it. So we always try and make sure we make that happen for everybody. So with the sponsor support like yours, man, we're giving back probably, you know, 80% cash payout, but you know, with prizes, I bet we're over 120%, is probably about where we land every year on every season with door prizes. So,
So I try
with
to
that,
give a
anybody
little
else?
more than what I do every year. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's huge I mean, when you look at it, I mean, your sponsorship alone puts that money back in, quite a bit. I mean, it takes a big chunk out of it. So we really appreciate it. Anybody got any questions before we let Nathan go? And questions for us, questions for Nathan? Plenty of spots left in the tournaments, guys. I know it's early. I know there's not a lot of ice, there's not safe ice on any of the lakes we're fishing yet, but they will fill fast, and we are capped at 40. 40 teams, of 2 on the ice fishing. So don't wait till the last minute. We will take, if it's not full, if we don't have 40 teams paid by the time the event starts, we will take entries at the ramp. But if you're the 41st registrar, if you're the 41st team, due to our insurance and permits, we had to set a limit. They ask us how many people are going to be participating, and that's where we drew the line, because that's where we feel we can handle. We can give a quality experience to everybody. So Larry Holmes is already in there for some of them. Richard Grimes. If you don't know, please, if you want to get in there, we keep an interested roster on every event. Get on the interested list. When my paid and interested adds up to 40, I'll reach back out to all the interested and make sure that they have a chance to get in. So if you're thinking about it, just don't want to prepay, get on that interested list, because once I hit 40, I'll go back through and make sure everybody that was interested wants to be on the list. So, but with that, Nathan, again, thank you. Appreciate you spending some time tonight with us and helping, kind of get some information out to the community and about yourself and about our events and kind of what we're setting as goals for why we're doing this and what your goals are and what you've been doing to help us out. So I really do appreciate it.
well, I appreciate you reaching out and asking if I'd like to do this.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something we're trying to value add, to the sponsors, and I think it's had some pretty good feedback as far as that, and I think tonight went really well, and I think it should get a lot of our other sponsors excited about it. So,
Oh, I sure am. As soon as we get the ice,
yeah, everybody's waiting for it. So,
it can't
yeah,
be any worse than last year, man. It
right,
cannot be
yeah.
any worse than last year. That was a
Shortest
disaster.
season I think a lot of us can ever remember. So it's definitely one for the books. But with that, I'm going to let you go. Have a great night. Everybody stay safe. If you need anything, have any questions, reach out to Nathan. He's very approachable on Facebook, or reach out to me and I'll get you hooked up with him. And everybody have a good night. Take it easy.
Later, Alan.
Bye, Nathan.
You have a good night, bud.
Yeah.